In an interview with Charlie Rosen on today's FastBreak.com, Phil Jackson said today's players lack the skills to run the triangle offense effectively, saying, quote, "Today's players simply lack the skills to play the triangle. They know how to play one-on-one, catch and shoot, and they've mastered crossover dribbles, spins, playing off of screens, and step-back shots. They don't know how to execute things like inside reverse pivots and other basic footwork. They have no sense of timing or organization. They don't really know how to play 5-on-5 basketball. It's strictly generational." So now we all know Jeff Hornacek plans to run a version of the triangle this upcoming season. Oh, Stephen A., your reaction?
My reaction is that Phil Jackson absolutely disgusts me. This New York Knicks squad under his regime is 49-115. I'm going to repeat that. 49-115. He disgusts me because he's not wrong, but he's disingenuous. If you just look at the quote on its face, he's talking about the players. He's not taking into account everything that comes with it. The age at which they enter play in the NBA. NBA coaches who are not necessarily teaching as much as they used to because they don't have the same level of security, so they're looking for the closest thing to finished products that they can find. College coaches, AAU coaches, everybody looking to get themselves in a position where they can cash in. No player knew. I remember when Phil Jackson took over Chicago, he had to nurture and help Michael Jordan along in terms of at least psychologically adopting a mindset, conducive to what Phil, with Tex Winters, the architect of the triangle, wanted to install and implement, okay? These are the kind of things that happen. It's why coaches exist. It's why assistant coaches exist. It's why a general manager exists who hires the coaches, and you're working in concert with one another to teach the players. So it's not about them not knowing. It's about what you are teaching and what you are enforcing and what you are implementing. Phil Jackson, did it ever occur to Phil Jackson that maybe, just maybe, had you decided to coach bad hips and all, instead of having a person in Derek Fisher who never coached a day in his life come and coach the New York Knicks for the first season and a half, did it ever occur to you that they might have a better knowledge of the triangle at that particular moment in time? And then, by the way, Phil Jackson, Mr. 11 rings, no doubt. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen for 6 of them. Kobe and Shaq for the other, for 3 of them. For 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then Kobe with Pau Gasol and the crew for the other 2. So, again, we're talking about you having some of the greatest players in NBA history. But even them, you had to teach them what you wanted. And so I just think that, again, he's not factually wrong in terms of the players, but it's not like they can't play or it's their fault or they're ignorant or they lack intellect. It's that you play for coaches who implement systems that don't teach these kind of things. And I think it's incredibly disingenuous and disrespectful for the players to just throw a quote out there like that without, without elaborating on exactly what's transpired.
Stephen A. and Knicks fans, kids, let Uncle Max do this for you. And Stephen A., I'm going to turn that frown upside down.
Okay.
This is my gift to you going into the weekend. Molly, this is my gift. We're going to have a happy Stephen A. Smith after our first week of shows together. This is my gift to you, Stephen A. It's not that you're wrong about what you said, but that's not what's going on here. This is the good news, Knicks fans. Good news, Knicks fans. What Phil Jackson here is doing is admitting the triangle ain't going to work. Now, Popovich uses elements of the triangle, and when Phil was coaching Kobe and Pau, they went to a lot of pick and roll, right? There's no, like, one system that people just use religiously without consideration for their personnel and the way the game is played. The spread pick and roll and the increase in three-point shots and efficiency of three-point shots and analytics, et cetera, with the rules that exploits the rules changes in the NBA, zone, hand checking, all this stuff has made the triangle antiquated if that's your primary basis of your offense. Now, if you're Phil Jackson, can you admit that? No, your ego is going to be far too wrapped up in it. It's too much of a sunk cost. So what you have to do to protect your own ego here, I don't think he's doing it intentionally, is saying, well, my system would work if they really stuck to it. The problem is, from a very young age, they haven't incorporated the right kind of skills in order to run it. This is his out, Stephen A., and we have to give it to him. You can't hold his feet to the fire. Oh, wait a minute, you're wrong. You said the triangle was work, and you're just wrong. We have to give him this out, because if you're a Knicks fan, the message you should be getting from this is, don't worry, it ain't going to be all about the triangle. Phil is capitulating. He's admitting it has to be something else. Let him do it. Who cares if it looks like some player on the team is kind of collateral damage in terms of reputation a little bit, or some generation of players? That's what the crusty old-timers always say. Let him move away from the triangle, exploit the resources on the team, and he has some now as well as possible, and let happy days come back to the Knicks. You
are on the record saying that his ego plays a role in it because he's not willing to admit certain things.
Yes.
That shows that that's a huge problem, because his ego is the one that got him in trouble with it to begin with. Because if you think for 1 second that Phil Jackson just learned over the last few months that people can't play the triangle.
Yes, he did.
Like it. No, he did not learn it just over the last few months. He's been known this, okay? The fact of the matter...
When Stephen A. says he's been known this, that means source? Wait a minute.
Without question.
Let me read between the lines.
Without question. Not only that.
Back off.
Not only that. Let's also remember something this.
Why
Phil
is he
Jackson,
the executive, for so long?
Phil Jackson, the executive, could have had Dwayne Wade had he not signed Courtney Lee. Keep that in mind. You didn't have to give Courtney Lee $50 million. Dwayne Wade went there for 47 in Chicago.
We need quick context here, though. These comments were made in December, just published today, to clear that up.
Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right.
There we go. There you go. So let me get this straight.
All right, so he's known it for about 8 months. That's still good news.
So he's known it for about 8 months. You know what makes it worse? That same Phil Jackson is the guy that tried to sell New York on Kurt Rambis and implore Kurt Rambis to teach the triangle in the aftermath of what he now has reported.
Kurt Rambis is interim. He brings in Hornacek, and Hornacek is a guy who looks, I have 3 point guards. Fine, well, Eric Bledsoe.
Phil Jackson tried to keep Rambis.
Whatever, but now he's got Hornacek, who's willing to use whatever's on the team. That's what he did. That's good news. You got a flexible, interesting coach. And you got a president who admits that he can't win with a triangle, essentially.
The Knicks are going to be better because Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah and Courtney Lee are going to make them better. But the reality is that they're still not going to compete for the championship.
What's it going to take to make you smile about the Knicks?
First week in the books. Thanks for joining us. Know you left a good situation. It's been fun.
Okay, all right, that's it. You done.
I didn't know flogging was a training method. Built like a brick house, there's no way that hurts you.
Ass Pacquiao. It works, preps you for the pain.
You should look into taking up paddleboarding or something.
What's Seifert say?
Well, he claims his hands are tied. Things seem really up over there.
Tell me about it. I can't even get a call about OTAs. My deal's already set.
Lack of gratitude speaks volumes about a man.
So listen to this story. Our next guest was named after John David Crow, the great St. Louis running back. His father, I did my homework, Denzel Washington, had a premonition because his son went on to become Morehouse College's all-time leading rusher in 2006. He was signed to the St. Louis Rams as a free agent. And now, it's such a cool story, he plays a football player on the hit show HBO Ballers. John David Washington in the house. Thank you so much.
See you, man.
Thank you for being here. You do a fantastic job on that show in that role. It seems like we just saw a clip, obviously. Great cast. You guys have a lot of fun. What is the best part of being on Ballers?
Besides the camaraderie of the cast and crew and the city, they've ingratiated us in filming, and it's really one of the main characters, I believe, the city of Miami itself, and they're very supportive, and it's been a lot of fun filming all over the place in Miami.
Good city.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of fun.
It's good times.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Good times. Yeah. Good, clean family fun.
Miami.
Restaurants, museums.
It comes across on the screen. Like, you're right. It's a character. You want to be watching the show, even if it's just for weather porn. Like whatever it is. You want to be watching the show. So you're working out with the ride. You're in his kind of area, in his vicinity, and this dude is jacked up and in shape, and you're going to be doing stuff, from time to time that shows off your physique. Does that put extra pressure on you to make sure that you are jacked up like The Rock?
Nah, not at all. Actually, it's way more fun training to look like I can play ball instead of when I was actually playing ball, training for television. So, no, it's no extra pressure. I I don't have to lift as heavy. I can do higher reps, you know, lower weight, and it's a lot of fun getting ready physically for this character.
Talk to me about the show itself. I mean, you know, I've watched it. Obviously, you're doing a fantastic job. I'm a fan of Dwayne Johnson because I was a wrestler fan. I used to watch him as The Rock a lot and all of that stuff.
You know,
and
he's
I love
Brick
him.
on General Hospital.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So he's got some acting skills. He can relate.
Oh, look
No,
at you.
listen, no,
You got your SAG card?
Yes, I do.
All right,
yes,
brother.
I do. Yes, I do, actually.
Official.
Us actors got to stick together.
Us lesbians.
But check it out. Looking at Ballers, I want you to talk to me about the show itself and because I think every show, particularly a show like that in this day and age, is trying to send a message through the various stories that it tells. Ultimately, what is the theme of this show, and what do you think makes the show so successful thus far?
I think, especially my approach to this Ricky character, is a chance to show human beings, you know, go through real things. I mean, they do super ordinary things on Sunday, Monday nights, you know, playing ball, but they're regular people, you know, and they feel and they hurt and they have to make certain decisions that affect their family and loved ones on a daily basis. So just to kind of get a snapshot of that and see the, you know, the different and various, you know, situations that these players are put in when they come into big money. I mean, their life changes automatically, like instantaneously, right at the draft and after the draft. Life changes. And so those kinds of responsibilities that are getting put on these young men that don't really have, they're really getting a crash course in learning on the fly with millions. It's a lot of pressure.
Who's telling these stories more? You, The Rock, others? Because obviously y'all have the kind of background where y'all can speak to those kind of things. What about others on the staff?
Wait, so you mean...
I'm just talking about, I know the producers obviously have a role, they have a very big role in formulating the storylines.
Right.
But how much input do y'all have with
Well, I believe that's the teamwork part of this production. I mean, the producers to the writers, and they give it to the actors. And the actors bring certain qualities and realness and authenticity to every character. And that's why chemistry is such a big deal. I mean, you guys have it here, you know, and once you start flowing together with the words that are coming off of the page, you make it your own, you know, in the team concept. So I believe Dwayne it's really close to his art because he's transitioned beautifully from a athlete, you know, to actor, to another occupation. And so it's this role for him in particular is very close. Gotcha. You know, it's close to home. And a lot of times that's harder to play too.
I'm sure you get this all the time because Denzel Washington's son, you can act. I mean, you are a talented actor.
Yes, you are.
I thought that before I knew you were. I think Michelle Beal or Marcellus Wiley said, "Oh yeah, that's Denzel Washington's son." Oh yeah, okay, I get it. But you can act. All-time leading rusher at Morehouse. You even get to play out the fantasy of playing in the NFL through Ballers. I'm sure it has. But has anything bad ever happened to you?
Well, I mean, listen.
Girls all like you. I hear that all the time.
I mean, I sabotage many relationships through the paranoia of trust issues or whatnot. But no, I'm very blessed. I'm a lucky individual to have two functional, active parents in my life and big-time supporters of me.
Ever get a paper cut?
I mean, listen, I've a broken clavicle, a couple of concussions, you know. Yeah,
a girl ever break up with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I feel a little bit better. No.
Can we move on?
And it's a lie.
I got you. Acting, football, which one was your passion?
Well, I guess both, really. Acting, I wanted to do my entire life. I saw my father do Othello, Shakespeare in the Park, when I was 5, and I fell in love with the language. And I was reluctant. My reluctance stemmed from my relationship, you know, and nepotism in the business. And so I used my rebellious quest, surge, crusade, I used football for that because it gave me my sense of identity, my identity card. And I earned my own scholarship. You know, I paid for my way through school. And I got the respect from teammates, from coaches, on my own merit, through hard work and results on the football field. And those kinds of lessons I learned, especially in the business, the business of the NFL. Curtis Martin told me the hardest part about the NFL isn't playing, it's everything else. And I didn't understand that at first. He told me when I was still in school. And I realized later when I got there, all the distractions and what you have to deal with. Again, that's what our show really hits home with, especially with my character. All the distractions surrounding you. It's almost like your sanctuary. When you get to the field or get to the facility, it's like, now I can just do what I've been doing since I was 5 years old.
What do you say when you look at today's NFL players? Some of the issues, fair or not, that just an abundance of them find themselves getting into. I mean, whether it's you, whether it's Dwayne Johnson or anybody else, what do you say to guys that are blessed enough to be in the NFL today about what they need to do to avoid some of those pitfalls, whether it's through the show or just talking here right now? What do you say to them?
Well, I think the word that comes to mind is humility. I think if you can humble yourself and realize all the work that you've done to get to this point, so why would you blow it on a couple of decisions, that can blow everything you've worked for? So to appreciate where you are, I think it takes humility, in my opinion. And that's what the character's dealing with this season. Discernment is another word. Really, how do I set myself up after the ball? And listen, I bought a flat screen TV with my first NFL paycheck, and I felt like I was stupid. And I'm pretty good with my money. But that's what happens. And when you wanted to
Joining us at the desk, one of the biggest names in the business. He's a music mogul. He has a new show. We'll get into that. He also helped build careers like Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, and so much more. Thank you so much for being here. We welcome to the desk, Birdman.
See.
We so appreciate it. Let's start with a little NBA. What did you think of Wade leaving for his hometown, Chicago?
Man, it broke our heart, man. I live in Miami. Man. I've been there for the last 10+ years. I personally think Wade I would have allowed him to finish his career behind a few $1 million.
4 to be exact.
$4 million.
Yes. Hassan Whiteside signed for $98 million, but was willing to shove aside about $4 million if they could get Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant decided to go to Golden State, D. Wade was like, all right, then that 4 should be for me. And they were like, no.
Wow. I think he deserved the respect. He did a lot for the city, a whole lot for the city. It was called Wade County. He deserved it to me. I wouldn't have, if I'd have been the honcho, I wouldn't have allowed it, me personally.
I think Riley did allow it, right? Because he's acting now like he's upset about it.
Riley, I mean, he the honcho, so you gotta pour it on him. But I mean, the city is devastated. Everybody wanted Wade to stay.
When you say that they were devastated, paint a picture for me of what it's like or what it's been like in Miami in the days that followed since D. Wade announced he was going to Chicago.
It's like sad out there, man. Miami take the basketball culture real serious. Ever since I've been in the city. So for D. Wade to leave, it's like, it's devastating to the fans. We spend a lot of money on them tickets, man. It costs to go to them games. Real money to sit on that wood. For D. Wade to leave, that was a hurt, a real hurt.
People driving around with a quarter tank of gas in their new E-Class because they had to spend money on those Miami tickets.
You understand? What's worse than that? They took all the pictures down, and D. Wade all over we used to that. He been there. He gave his life to that town, to that city.
One of the things I've mentioned to both Molly and Max is this. I want to know how folks in Miami are feeling about Pat Riley right now. I respect the man. They're obviously a great organization. But in 2 of the last 3 years, LeBron and D. Wade have walked out the door.
That's big.
I want to know how the city's feeling about him right now.
Really, them top-notch names in the game, you just can't allow that to happen. But it happens. So, but with Pat, bro, you really never know, bro. The dude is a genius. He know how to put things together. So, and then you might not understand his mind frame or what he thinking, but still, it's a big hit to the town, a real big hit.
You're a Saints fan as well, correct?
Definitely.
Wow.
What do you think about what's going on with Drew Brees right now? He's 37 years old, but they don't have a deal worked out. One of the greatest quarterbacks you're ever going to see. What's in the future? What do you see?
I think they should break bread, give him a check. I mean, getting a quarterback without, football is totally different from basketball. Without the brains, you might have the sideline brains on a coaching field, but we need a solid quarterback. There's not too many of them out there who can really give you a chance to go to the Super Bowl every year. So I think Drew Brees deserves his check. What they hold in the bank fund, they got it.
Well, in the NFL, you got a hard salary cap. That might have something to do with it, but when it comes to Drew Brees, you do what you got to do, especially when you don't have a defense to support him. That offense is carrying that franchise. But let me transition to your show, Music Mogul, obviously, is a star-studded cast. Talk to me about how the show came about and specifically what y'all are trying to accomplish. Music Mogul, BET, talk to me about that for a second.
It was brought to me by Ray J and Lemmy. Ray J is a friend. I personally didn't have no interest in it in the beginning. It's always been discreet with my life. I never wanted to open myself to nothing really personally. But then I thought it might be great to do something for my young artists. Not talking about Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, because they, to me personally, on cruise control, they self-contained in this game. So I thought what we do all have in common is we're trying to help somebody. We're all trying to help a young man change somebody's life in some kind of way. So I think the show is positive, and we need it because we can get a star out of it. Because all four of us, commonly, we have in general is trying to help a young man become successful. So I think in that sense, it's worth constantly to keep doing because we can help somebody.
What's the key to their success?
The drive that we give them, besides that, it have to come from them having talent. I could put you in a position to sell, but I can't make people buy your music. So you just have to have that special within yourself.
I'm gonna get a little deep here because I think about the show. I know Snoop, known Snoop for years. Obviously, both of y'all have checkered backgrounds and have made a great success for yourself. And I'm thinking about what we're seeing take place in this day and time. One of the things that I just spoke about, Max and I just spoke about the other day, was the violence in the streets of Chicago. We see President Obama with his Brothers Keepers initiative. We see NBA athletes and others like Steph Curry and others getting tremendously involved, trying to make that contribution and bring light to a lot of positive things that could potentially come from some of these things if we reach back and help those who are less fortunate than ourselves. I want to know what role, if any, you guys desire to play, the kind of conversations you guys have about what's going on in these streets, considering the fact that you guys came from the streets and elevated yourself to this point. Could you talk to me about that?
I think, personally, out of any sport, I look at what we do as a sport, and we really in the streets. They made it come from the streets. Our lifestyle is in the streets. So, I think what's going on, the police, man, it's not nothing new, bro. I grew up in the projects. It's been going on, bro. And, I speak to Minister Farrakhan all the time, and he speak about this. He's been speaking about this for years. At some point, it just got to stop. And all our verses and what we bring to the table really is would help it to stop, because now it's been going on, but now we all see it as a country, as what's going on, and I just think it's foul to be just shooting a person. All that, I don't understand that.
I got you.
Birdman, thank you. Appreciate your time, perspective, and we can catch your show Tuesdays on BET?
Every Tuesday.
Yes,
All right.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right.
Coming up next, Carmelo Anthony wasn't sure if he was going to play for Team USA in the Olympics when his close friends LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade decided not to play. That was when the players who committed to the team encouraged Anthony to come back for a chance to win a third Olympic gold medal, an accomplishment no American men's basketball player has yet achieved. Quote, they were saying, it's your time, your Olympics. You should take advantage of this opportunity. Once the guy started reaching out and talking to me about that, it felt good to hear my colleagues want me to have that. Mr. Smith, should Carmelo be playing in the Olympics?
No. It's nothing different than I've told him before. And, you know, I know and got mad respect for all of them and mad love for him and D-Wade and CP3 in particular. But let me be very, very clear. I don't give a damn about a gold medal. I'm sorry to sound unpatriotic because I'm not. I root for USA. I'm an American, okay, and proud to be one. And I'm going to be rooting for Team USA in everything. I don't care what the event is. I personally don't believe that we need those superstars in order to win gold, number one. Number two, and more importantly, I don't believe NBA superstars should be jeopardizing themselves by participating in Olympic competition when they're getting their checks from NBA teams and owners. But in the case of Carmelo Anthony specifically, let me be very, very clear. I consider, at least up until a year or two ago, I considered Carmelo Anthony one of the top 5 offensive players of this generation. He is that big time. Certainly not so much defensively, but offensively, he is that big time, Max. He is that big time. But he's 32. Over the last 2 seasons, he's missed 52 games. 40 the year before, 10 last year. He isn't 100, even if he is 100% healthy, as you pointed to, age, attrition, father time comes creeping in. Carmelo Anthony has never played in an NBA Finals. Carmelo Anthony is in the league for the last 13 years, and only once has he been to a conference finals. Your boy, one of your boys who you are incredibly tight with, has been to 6 consecutive finals. He's got 3 rings, okay? And he's been to 7 finals in his career. The other one of your boys is a 3-time champion who has been to 5. Aren't conversations just a tad bit odd? Is it just me? Is it just me? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, when I look at it from that perspective, the priority to me should be all about winning a championship, going for it, exhausting every means and measure necessary to get to that point. And when I look at Carmelo Anthony, who has 2 gold medals, now mind you, I wouldn't be saying this if he never played in the Olympics, but he has not won 2 rings. 2 gold medals, I'm sorry. 2. What the hell is a third gonna do?
He'd be the first.
Really? That's
Maybe
what,
he feels like I can't get rings, so I'll get 3 medals.
Really? I mean, in America, I'm going to put myself out on a limb. In America, as it pertains to a superstar NBA player, we don't really give a damn if you have a gold medal or not, especially if you already have one. What we care about is the ring. And especially me being a diehard New York Knicks fan, that's what I care about. I don't care to see him in Rio.
Okay. Much as it pains me to agree with my esteemed colleague, Stephen A. Smith, I think we're just going to have to go with the Olympics today. Look, the Olympics are a scam. Kids, the Olympics are a scam, especially for professional players. What do I mean by this? It's a scam. Everyone gets paid. If they asked any one of us to go cover the Olympics, are you doing that for free?
No.
Are you doing that for free? Would this network cover them without selling commercial time? Would the commercials just be buying time to not sell their products, or would they be selling their products? Would the ushers get paid? Is it good for the economy of the city that hosts the Olympics? for the profile of the nation that hosts it. It's good for every single person involved except for labor. The actual participants don't get paid. Boy, that is a sweet deal. And they get duped into competing. And by the way, like you, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I love it. And USA when we're in the Olympics, of course. Hardcore.
I'd rather be.
I'm just saying, let's be honest. The athletes are duped by using this idea of patriotism to make money for everyone involved except for themselves. Now, why did the dream team, why did professional players in the NBA start playing in the first place? Because the rest of the world caught up to us, and it started to get embarrassing. And so we said, okay, how about this? We'll actually send our best players, instead of those Eastern European countries whose best players weren't getting paid anyway and qualified for the Olympics at the time. We're going to send our best players, and we'll see what's what. And we slaughtered everybody. It was over, right? But once that had been established, there's no reason to keep doing it. Now, how about this? How about the Lakers a couple years ago? Pau Gasol competes in the Olympics, not even for Team USA, for Spain. And then he's exhausted by the time the season starts, had a bad season, was getting older, a 7-footer, had injury problems. The Lakers are the team that's paying him, but competing against the United States. And oh, it's a good thing for him. He's competing in the Olympics. No, it wasn't. It was a bad thing for him. And it's a bad thing for Carmelo. You know who the Olympics are good for? Let's be practical about this. Boogie Cousins a couple years ago, right? You have a young 20s emerging star.
See, I don't mind that.
Me neither.
I don't mind that.
Neither. You have an emerging star whose brand is not as significant as his talent and his skills yet, would be served, his game would be served by being around a winning culture and other world-class players and world-class coaching, and whose recognition would go up by participating. And who's not injury-prone. Very good for a guy like Boogie Cousins. It is idiotic for a guy like Carmelo Anthony. We agree about that.
You know what? To me, I'm not even thinking about the intellect behind it, whether it's an intelligent or idiotic decision. I'm not going there. I got too much respect for him to do that. Where I'm going is that I challenge any basketball fan in the United States of America to genuinely tell me that they care about seeing him in the Olympics. What you care about, if you are a fan of Carmelo Anthony, if you are a Knicks fan, if you are a NBA fan, what you care about when you see Carmelo Anthony is Carmelo Anthony being in peak condition and peak form, ready to vehemently pursue an NBA championship, especially since 2 of the 3 brothers you are known for hanging out with most got 6 rings between them.
Amen.
And 12 NBA Finals appearances combined. I mean, come on. I'm just saying.
You don't see any of them playing.
Listen, that's all. I'm like, yo, you got 2 gold medals, you 32, and you are one of the elite NBA offensive players in history, and you have never played in an NBA Finals. I need that. I need that from him.
I'll tell you what I don't want to hear. Oh, why couldn't you get back down the court? Tired. Right? Like, you know, now fatigue is no excuse.
I'm not. I don't care.
In the upcoming season?
I don't care about a 3rd gold medal for Carmelo Anthony. I care about an elusive 1st championship ring. I want to see him going at LeBron and putting LeBron on his heels because I'm trying to come for what you've got. That's what I want to see from Carmelo.
The Knicks win a championship
That's what I'm saying.
This year are 0.
I understand that.
He could go to the Olympics or not.
I know this much, but I still appreciate it if he give it to LeBron, though. Because he get on the court with LeBron, he's got the talent to do it.
Yeah, no one can stop him offensively.
Nobody can stop Carmelo. Nobody can stop him.
Let's leave it